So this is going to be lesson one of learning the elements with me right now. So this whole thing is going to be again based on my reality of trading. Okay, that's the main disclaimer in watching this because this is going to be on YouTube. So I don't know I don't know if you just coming across my page or you already know what is going on type shit. But again, this is just my personal reality of market. Okay, and I've made an edge behind it. Everything that was working for me, I kind of just took everything that was working and put it into something and put it into a system that all I have to do is now follow this system, follow my rules, and flow the motherfucking market. You know what I'm saying? So before I get this video started, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and spark up the blunt. I'm not gonna condone no taking no shots and drinking type shit, you feel me? But you can definitely spark the blunt up and enjoy the video. So with this video right here, I'm just gonna go over the basic entry model. There's 7 entry models, like 7 buy models and 7 sell models. And we're not gonna get into all those just yet, but for right now, we're definitely just gonna focus on the basic model, okay? And this is something that all of y'all have seen before. I can guarantee that shit. Like this is nothing that I'm just making up out the ass or anything like that. Market has shown all of us this exact move over and over again. So due to that, and me studying all of my wins, all of my losses and everything like that, I finally put together, okay, these are the things that take place when I like to get into an entry. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. I just took everything that I've learned and again, only taking the things that worked. And once I had all that together, sometimes you can know too much and then you go in the market and you're just fucked up mentally. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to get into the trade, this, that, and the other. But this right here, this is more of a systematic approach to things. And as a trader, all we want to know how to do is hop on the charts and know when to press buy or sell. You know what I'm saying? That's all it really comes down to. So I wanted something that was very easy, very free flowing. And I definitely want to say Wyckoff is not Wyckoff inspired, but the way the Wyckoff systematic approach was, that's what really helped like change the game for me when I learned Wyckoff. And Wyckoff is cool and everything like that. This isn't a Wyckoff video, but the way that you have to sit on your hands and wait for certain things to play out, I appreciated that, and it definitely allowed me to become more patient. So yeah, that's just something I've added to my arsenal or whatever. But with this right here, I kind of put that same approach into there to where you have to wait on certain confirmations before you can actually get into the trade. And that right there has just been a super game changer for me because now you know when to stay patient, you know when to sit on your hands, and you know when to just flow with market and sometimes let it pass you by until it shows you all your confirmations. And with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and run into this again basic entry model. Okay, there's 7 of these. I'm not gonna go into all 7. I might like skim through them a little bit just to give you a little peek or whatever, but this is going to be just YouTube content. You know what I'm saying? I just want to push out the elements material, the basics of the material, because I feel like it can help everyone as long as you grind this shit out. I'll go ahead and provide you everything you need. And I'm not going to start the monthly mentorship or anything like that until all these videos have been completed. So if you're already in the chat, you already know what's going on. But I'm also not going to open up a chat for this YouTube channel as well. Like I have a free channel or whatever, but I'm not going to open that until everything is complete. So definitely this is classes. Okay, I don't want to call this like no mentorship, none of that shit. This is straight classes. I'm just teaching what works for me, and that's all it is. You can take it, you can say fuck it, it doesn't work for me, it's all good, but just know this how market moves. You know what I'm saying? This is just how market moves, and that's how I like to work. I like to just, in front of me, I need to know what's actually going on. I need to be able to question this. I need to be able to know why I lost, why I won. And this right here is definitely something that can clean your trading up completely if you go about it the right way. So we're going to start off with just the basic template. Okay, so I made this template back in May, or probably even so. I definitely made this template way sooner than that, but I just opened up this Discord, this new Discord a couple last month or so. So with this right here, again, I liked how Wyckoff gave me A, B, C, D. Like I had to have these things play out before entry. So with that being said, our entry is only going to take place over here in phase 3. Okay. So it all began with me like seeing that market. Let me change this color. Let's just change it to red or something. Like market would go through these things. Basically, it'll clear out liquidity, right? And then you can look at this as your breaker structure. I don't really like, that's kind of like in the past for me right now. So I'm not really like breaker structure driven, but it's kind of like I just mentally know where it's at type shit. I mean, I've just done it so much, but at the same time, this ICL can be your same thing as breaker structure, whatever works for you. Okay. But we clear out liquidity, we break structure, whatever the case is, and then we create a range, right? And then we have our entry somewhere within that range. And what I was peeping within my screenshots was every single time it'll clear out a low, for instance, or like this wick or whatever. And every time I do that, that's when I have an immediate reaction. And I was like, oh shit, like, okay, let me just draw this out, draw out what I'm seeing. And then how can I break it down to I can see certain steps play out. So that's how all this came about. So that's why I have 4 different phases that market goes through. And you would, again, you can back test this for yourself. Like you're going to see for yourself how this shit works. I don't gotta like press it on you at all. You're gonna be able to go in market and see 4 phases play out in front of you, and you're gonna be like, damn, that shit crazy. So with that being said, the reason again I wrote these phases because I had the whole thing drawn out, and I was like, okay, well, this plays out, this happens, and this happens. So I just broke things up. I broke how market moves in these 4 phases, and these 4 phases is honestly all you're gonna need. And so over here, I have how this is labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the order it goes in. And again, if y'all have already watched my liquidity video, it's all flowing with the grabbing and creating motion of market. Okay. And if you haven't watched that video, please just go watch that video so you can just at least have my viewpoint of liquidity. And that's a pretty old video. Like, I don't know if my viewpoints have changed, but this is the super basics of grabbing and creating. So all you have to do is follow along with that and you'll be good. So with that being said, this is how everything plays. So in phase 1, you're going to have 1, 2, and 3 play out. In phase 2, you're going to have 4 and 5. In phase 3, you'll have 6 and 7. In phase 4, I don't have anything numbered over there because once you enter, your entry basically begins phase 4, right? And you'll have a phase 4 reaction. That's what you'll hear me saying a lot, is a P4 reaction, because it's going to be instantaneous, and you'll see it for yourself. And I'll go through some trades as well to help you see that. And here's the key to all the abbreviations. So CL is clear liquidity. So we clear out liquidity right here. ICL is the impulse that cleared out liquidity. I just like to focus on that because, again, it's just something that was important to me. I was like, all right, well, if we clear out liquidity, well, let me focus on what actually cleared it out. And most of the time, 98% of the time, 99% of the time, it's going to be an impulse that clears it out. It's going to move with nice momentum. So this right here is our impulse that clears out liquidity, right? This bearish impulse cleared out this liquidity. So that's what ICL stands for. And then we have bottom of our range. So bottom of our range, again, we're going to have a range, right? So we have a bottom of a range and we have a top of the range. So bottom of the range will be after these take place. So that's why it's number 3. And then the bottom of our range leads to the top of our range. Okay. So inside of our range, again, we have 7 different factors that can come into play to let us know how to play off the range itself. But for this basic one, I'm not going to go through everything, but for the basic one, we're just going to talk about the IWR. Okay. And that's the impulse within the range. All right. So I'm very big on these impulses because I just like, it's just important that to seek that in market itself. So within this bullish range, right, you're going to have a bearish impulse, the first bearish impulse. That's the main thing. You're going to focus on the first impulse within the range. Okay. Like, and again, y'all need to be having notes. Like, this is like a note taking type of shit. You feel me? Because this is class. I'm teaching right now, you student, you know what I'm saying? So definitely take notes on this. And if you take the notes and you grind it out, you're going to see exactly what I see. And it'll make a lot of sense. And you can tie in all the things that already work with you and put it together in your own system if that's what it takes. But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and put a system together for you and you can see how that shit works. So within your range, you're going to have, like, for this model itself, we're going to have an impulse within the range. Okay. And there's also a jab step. I'm not going to get into the jab steps just now. We'll get into that later on in the next few videos or whatever, because I feel like in the next video, I'll go over the jab steps and impulses and range, along with the 5 other things that can take place within our range that provide us an entry. And again, the top of our range will be up here, TOR, and then CL3. So we have CL, which is cleared liquidity, and our CL3, which is basically saying created liquidity in phase 3. Okay, so that's what CL3 stands for. And that's all phase 3 mainly consists of. It's going to have the created liquidity that's going to be that created liquidity for our entry, right, as well as our entry down here for our SV, our sniper vision entry. We'll get into that later on as well, because I've now updated to like a new candlestick pattern that I'm fucking with. I'm not gonna get into that for this video, but I just want to be able to break down this key itself so you can at least back test it and see what I see. So for the conditions in phase 1, when we clear out liquidity, it should happen with nice momentum, right? That's why that impulse that clears it out is very important to me, because I want to clear it out like fast. You feel me? I don't want it to be on some slow shit to where it's just, you know what I'm saying, doing that, and then, you know, it can come up here and do some shit like that. You feel me? Like, and then all of a sudden it's just still bearish and you've been trying to buy. Like, if we have liquidity right here, then I'm gonna needs to clear it out real quick, you know what I'm saying, and then do its thing. So that's the main thing with the ICO. And once liquidity has been cleared out, it should be an immediate reaction. Like, it needs to be immediate, like, because again, you're going to see like this is going to be full flow of how market moves. So you have to have these particular things take place in order for it to be a confirmation to what's actually happening in the market. And then clearing out this liquidity will be in the broader range, top of the range. Honestly, I'm not about to even get into like all these conditions just yet. I'm gonna let y'all read these yourselves. Y'all can screenshot this or whatever the case is, because I haven't even read this since I've created this template, to be honest, because I've just been working on continuing the grind with it itself. So this is already embedded in my head. So if you want to read these, definitely just pause the video, take the screenshot, do what you got to do, and then you'll understand what each phase does and the conditions that must align in each phase. So that's the main thing. If you're going to read these for yourself, you're definitely going to want to make sure that these take place, okay? Because the basic questions that happen when someone is learning this is, oh, well, what about this, or what about that, or what if this happened, like on some weak shit, you know what I'm saying? Like complete opposite of what's actually being said. So for instance, don't come and ask, well, what if this impulse wasn't with nice momentum? Okay, well, why the fuck are we asking that question? It's not valid, invalid. If this is not aligned with what's happening down here, for all of these, it's invalid. Don't ask the question that makes no sense, because there's no need to try to apply something that's not there. Okay, so this is the overall basic template. Okay, I'm not sure if you're inside of the Discord, I might put this template itself inside the Discord, or I might put it inside the Telegram. I'm not too sure yet, because I'm not even going to be releasing this video today. I'll be releasing it tomorrow because we're going to be working on it like that. So yeah, this is the basic entry model. Okay, it's something that we've all seen. It's something we all know how this goes. Okay, but again, market will clear out liquidity. We'll have an impulse that clears it out, right? And then we create our bullish range within there, right? And then we're going to have something within here. So for this one in particular, we're going to have the first impulse within this bullish range. Okay, a bearish impulse within a bullish range. And again, if you've watched my last video, wicks equal liquidity. So with this impulse right here, we're going to see a nice, beautiful wick. And what we're going to be doing is targeting that liquidity, clearing that wick out, and then having that immediate reaction. Okay. So again, please do not try to confuse this with like anything else that you already see on social media type shit, because I'm not here for it. Like, I don't want to hear, oh, this looks like this, or this is look like, listen, this is my reality of market. Simple as that. You can apply your reality to market and get all the things that you want, but this is my reality. Okay. So this is how I view things. And I just know that if you open your eyes a little bit to how I'm seeing things, all this terminology based shit is going to go out the window, and you're going to actually be flowing with what's in front of you. So once our range is created, now we're approaching entry. You know what I'm saying? So after our range is created, we have to create liquidity. So that's why we have our CO3, so we can identify the wicks that are left behind, right? Because if this is going to be left behind wicks, that means we're going to be grabbing everything to the downside, grabbing everything, right? Clearing out all this liquidity within this range. And that's the main thing that I focus on, that is because when we have a range, for instance, let's say we had a range like this, and we're trying to be bullish. Well, we got to clear out all the liquidity within that range before we can continue bullish, right? Because market is a liquidity eating machine. You know what I'm saying? So it's always going to want to eat the fattest wicks and where all the wicks are sitting at. That's simple as that. You know what I'm saying? So if we're going bullish, right, we're going bullish, we're going to clear out everything bearish wise within here so that we can continue bullish, right? Because as we do that, what are we going to leave behind? We're going to leave more wicks to the upside. Because again, if market is liquidity eating machine, right, and it eats all this liquidity right here, what's left? This is next. So that's going to be our target. And that continues the flow, that continues the cycle, because again, we're going to have liquidity down here. And if market is bullish, it's going to want to clear out all the liquidity within that range and then go back bullish. Why? Because we're going to have more creative liquidity up here. As we grab liquidity, we create liquidity. So that's why you have to watch my past video just to get that interpretation of how market moves itself. So that's why I put all this together, because it's all focusing within the range. Like that's really it. We create the beginning of our range, we have our range, and then we can base our entry based on what happened within that range. Okay, so that's how this whole entire system works. And it's 4 different phases that take place. Phase 1, you're just clearing out liquidity. Phase 2, you're creating your range. Phase 3, you're creating that liquidity to give you the overall like TP levels type shit, as well as that's where you're gonna get your entry. And phase 4 is going to be an immediate reaction. I didn't mean to say that, but yeah, phase 4 is going to be an immediate reaction every single time. Okay, and the thing about this is that there's a lot of ways to have like phase 1, 2 play out, and then phase 3 just completely show you incorrect ways of movement, and you're like, all right, this is not a good trade. So for instance, let's say we're looking at this and we're like, okay, bet we have this playing out, we have our range, and overall we want to clear out this liquidity within that range, because again, we want to clear out all that liquidity so we can continue bullish. So that's what we're looking at. And now we're approaching phase 3, because again, phase 3 begins after your range is verified. And the way you verify your range is if we're pushing up and this high does not get broken and it comes down, boom, that's top of the range, right? That's how it works, because you can't have some shit like this, right? And then be like, oh, this is the top of my range, and you don't know yet. You can like, this is my top of the range, and you might want to fucking sell to buy, get into your trade here because you want to TP down here, but that's not the case. It can still be in the process of breaking highs type shit. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to pre-predict where the top of your range is. You want to go ahead and let it be confirmed. So we have our range right here, and then P3 does some shit like this, like pushes down heavy like that. That's incorrect. This is a no-go. You want this to be choppy. And again, you'll be able to read it over here, but you want this to be a choppy phase, right? And there's also another way about it. We have a fast P3 and we have a slow P3. I'll probably get into that to the later on videos, or either I'll just keep that for the ones who are already inside the mentorship, because that's a little bit more in depth. But for right now, if you're seeing heavy momentum, it's a no-go. Like I guarantee you it's a no-go. There should be no reason market is wanting to move with so much momentum if your entry is right here. All right. Because again, what can happen is you can get your entry and you're gonna be blue and it's gonna push down again. And it's gonna push down again, right? And that's also gonna go into our next few videos about how we're gonna have weak ass buys. Okay, there's no strength, right? So buys don't have enough strength to continue breaking highs. It's automatically time to sell. Simple as that. And vice versa. If sales have no strength, there's no, we as traders, we can only buy and sell. You feel me? So if we can't, and there's no strength to sell, then it's time to buy. And there's no strength to buy, it's time to sell. You know what I'm saying? So that's why this momentum also kicks in. And we have other confirmations that show us like, okay, it's not a good trade. But if you are just not getting into it and you do take this seriously, I promise you in live market, you might see some shit like this and it'll push down towards your entry. And you're gonna be like, oh shit, like, what the fuck, like this motherfucker push down real quick and then might push up and do the same exact thing again and run your low that you thought was your bottom of the range. Okay. And again, this is why we split market up within different phases, so we can focus on what's actually happening. This was a good phase. We cleared that off. This was a good phase. This was a no-go. Right. So there's no reason to enter market with over here because we've already been proven too much momentum towards our entry. We do not want to see that. We want to see choppy liquidity. We want to see all this liquidity to the upside, right? Because it's false protection. Everyone's in sales right here, sales right here, sales right here. False protection, okay? Because they're eating right now, right? Because they're probably targeting lows, for instance, or they could even be targeting this. Who fucking knows? But let's say they're targeting this low right here. They're having false protection because they're eating right now. All of a sudden, we clear out this liquidity. We now cleared out all liquidity within that range, right? So what's next? The false protected highs, right? And again, that's created liquidity. So that's what the next motion of market is going to lead to. Okay. So if market is still wanting to come down low, then that means it's wanting to target at lows. Okay. It's not, don't think, oh, well, I'm going to buy right here and have an even tighter stop loss. Trust me, that motherfucker's gonna get ran through. Okay. There's no reason to try to justify things like that. And that's the best thing about this Elements entry model is that I really built it around I can make sure certain confirmations take place before I trade. You know what I'm saying? I've already taken all the L's that you can possibly think of within this entry model itself. And these are the particular things that take place. You're going to have a very fast P3 within the wrong type of way. Because again, there is a good way of having a P3, a fast P3. And I'm gonna go over that in the live example. But when you're just like, when it's regular market and there's no reason for P3 to be taking place that fast, trust me, do not get into that shit. So yeah, I feel like that's gonna be just the basics thing right here. Again, this is super basic because I wanted to make it basic so that for those who grind this shit out, you're going to see where it can take you. As simple as that. This is not no handout type of shit. This is not, here's every fucking answer you can think of. That's for everyone who's like already MVP type shit. But this is just YouTube type shit. You feel me? So if you're watching this on YouTube because you're trying to learn how to trade or you're trying to put together a system, you can grind this out and you'll see the results. Like I guarantee that shit. That's the beauty of trading. You know what I'm saying? Like as traders, we have all this shit going on in life. We have all this shit going on in the market, but as long as you never give up and you just continue to grind, you're guaranteed success. Like that's the beauty of this job. It's guaranteed success. There's no guarantee when a success is going to take place, right? But it is guaranteed success if you never stop and you keep grinding, you continue to learn from your mistakes. Because And trading, the thing is, like, you're only gonna make that mistake so many times. Trust me, it's only gonna be so many times you're gonna see a fast P3 and you're gonna get into that trade. Because after the fifth time of thinking that, oh well, I'm gonna buy right here because everything else looks good, and you get stopped out, you're gonna be like, okay, let me chill a little bit. I know that I shouldn't have entered, and I don't want to continue to take those L's. So let me just stop. Right. And then it's on to the next problem. It's on to the next thing that you have to solve. So it's just the beauty of how market moves. It teaches you a lot of things. So that's going to be the basic setup of this. Again, you can read this yourself. You can screenshot this, print this bitch out, do whatever you got to do. But this is the basic entry model, okay? Because again, there's 7 of them, all right? And we're not going to go through all of them right now. But for right now, this is the one that you can work with, and you can work with this week 100%. So actually, I think I have personal trades. Let me see. I think I took like a good screenshot one the other day. All right, cool. So this will be a quick example real quick on a smaller time frame. Okay, this would have been the cleared out liquidity. This is the impulse that cleared that liquidity out, top of the range, bottom of our range, right? Again, the bottom of your range is confirmed once that low isn't broken. Okay, so as you see right here, we have a pretty fast P3. You know, I don't know what time frame it's on. This might be on like the 15-minute or possibly even the 5-minute. I honestly don't remember, but within, I think it's the 5-minute. So within here, you see how market is moving up pretty fast. So that means on the 1 minute, that motherfucker is really pushing up. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay because we have like liquidity created down here. So we don't need a slow P3. We don't need to have crazy P3 creations over here because it's already aligning with this low over here. These lows are aligned with this low, giving us this created liquidity. And again, if market is bearish, right? If market is moving like this, right? What are we doing? We're going to clear out all the liquidity within that range and then go down bearish. And as you do that, we're going to have lows to target. And these lows are combined with these lows over here. So that's going to allow us to have a fast P3. Okay. So that's just one little confirmation right there to just reiterate how it's okay to have a fast P3 sometimes. Okay. But it has to be aligned with a double bottom or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It has to be with already liquidity to the left. And if it's not like that, then you're going to want to see a slow P3 because you're going to want to create all that liquidity to then target when it's time for your P4 reaction. Right. So this was, and inside the mentorship, you'll see like I have everything breaking down so you can have all type of stuff. So this was a trade that was in there. And again, this right here was my impulse within the range. Okay, and we're gonna go over that, but we pushed down, pushed up, pushed down, pushed up, did this thing. So where is that first bullish impulse within this bearish range? It's right here. So that's what I'm looking to clear out. And then again, P4 reaction. It's instantaneous every single time. I'm telling you, it's going to be instantaneous. So that was just a gist of this trade right here. I just wanted to, I guess, show that because that happened last week, I believe. I think it should have hit TP. Yeah, I definitely was just stacking. All right, we're not gonna get into all that. All right, cool. So I just want to push that out there real quick. Entry model wise, let's go through this. Let's go through just our. All right, cool. I want to show this as well real quick. So this is why we can have, and this is a bearish entry model, okay? So this right here would be clear liquidity, impulse that clears it, top of the range, bottom of the range, CL3, impulse within range. And then our SV over here that provides our entry, okay? So if we were to split it up, it'll look like this. Okay, P1, P2, P3, P4 is always going to be your reaction. Okay. P2 is where you look at for entry because P2 is going to show you your range and something within that range is going to allow for entry to take place. Okay. And then we watch that happen for P3. We let market do its thing. So with this right here, so we can explain why we have a faster P3 sometimes is because like what I just like, I'm telling you, like this is dead ass how market moves. And this is picture perfect what I just showed y'all in my trade. We already have previously created liquidity that hasn't been ran through just yet, right? So due to us already having previously created liquidity, we don't have to create hella liquidity over here. It's okay to move fast, right? That's just how, and again, you got to back test this shit. You feel me? Don't just take my word for it. Go look for yourself. So over here, we have a slower P3, right? And the reason we have a slower P3 is again because we cleared out all this liquidity. There is no double bottom over here right now, right? None of that is there right now. So for this example, we've already cleared out liquidity. So now we have to create hella liquidity, right? Not hella, but now we have to create liquidity. And that's going to be a beautiful P3 every single time if you've already cleared out liquidity over here. And again, clear liquidity, This is the impulse that clear liquidity, top of the range, bottom of our range, CL3, impulse within the range, SV. That's how market moves. Like I just labeled it to how market moves. Like that's it. I don't really know another way about it. So again, we have a slower P3 because we've cleared out liquidity. There is no double bottom over here. We have not added this liquidity to something that's already been to the left. Okay. So we have all these lows created because again, if market is moving just by grabbing and creating, right? As we push up bearish, we're going to leave all these lows behind. That allows for us to have a P4 reaction because it's then targeting those lows. Again, it's a fucking liquidity eating machine. You feel me? That's all market is. So those are the things that can take place that helps you out for sure on understanding a slow P3 versus a fast P3, because you will come across both scenarios. Okay, so we're going to be prepared for both of those. Let me just see if we have our impulse in the range. Nah, that's fills. High range, just impulse range. All right, cool. So again, I'll probably put all these out there because like within the mentorship type shit, like everything, I have all my videos differently and I explain things differently. Like the models, it really doesn't matter to be pushed out because if you don't know how to apply them properly, then it doesn't really matter. So this right here is again our impulse within the range with a fast P3, okay? Because we have a double bottom sitting right here. And again, your range is going to allow you to see what kind of entry going to be taking place as. And again, we have 7 different ways of seeing of things taking place within our range that give us an actual entry. So this will be a fast P3 example. We clear out that impulse in the range and run lows. This will be a fast P3 bullish wise. We clear out this impulse within range and we run highs, okay? And this will be a slow P3, right? We cleared out liquidity there, so there is no double bottom over here. So we have a slow P3 due to us having to create a lot of liquidity to then run lows. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through that, and that should be straight on that basic entry model wise. I'm not gonna get too in depth with it. So right now we're going back to the Safari real quick, go to trading view. And this had happened May 9th. If you want to go back to this exact example, this is on a 5-minute time frame as well. I can't go down to the 1 minute because it's not enough history or whatever the case is on trading view. It won't let me. So we're gonna work with the 5-minute right now. And looking at this, like you should be able to see how market moves. Okay. And again, I'm not going to teach everything within this, but then these like fucking 5 or 6 episodes type shit. Like it's not going to be like that. If you want the arsenal of how everything else works, then you know what I'm saying, you can join the monthly thing or whatever the case is or not. But I'm hoping that this is going to be enough for you to already apply with what's already in your trading arsenal. So again, we've already, let me just use the annotate because I already have my stuff annotated. So I'll just use this. So looking at this, okay, we clear out liquidity. This is the impulse that clears it out. It leads to the bottom of our range and that leads to the top of our range, right? So within this range, what can we be expecting? Well, let's look at this. We already tested this low right here. And if you look at mitigations or whatever the case is, like mitigating in my eyes is just the same word as fucking testing. That's it. Like you're mitigating a low. Okay, well, you're testing the low. So same as that concept, same as that thing. That's just if you don't know what that is, well, that's all I'm saying is that it's just testing a low. And we have situations where a low, like the lowest part of that low is tested and we continue to do our thing, you feel me? Then I'm going to now consider this my bottom of the range, right? Because if this is going to get ran through, if this were to have come down and not had like a bullish reaction over here, then it's time to run that. Like we're now going to run all these lows over here. Okay. So due to us testing this low already, I'm now going to consider this as my bottom of the range. Okay. So I also want to show this one as a live example so I can kind of answer questions that you might have. Like if you were to come across an example like this to where you're like, oh, well, why didn't we clear out this if this is the first impulse within the range? Well, there's no need to do that because this is already tested this low over here, right? So now this is our new strongest low possible. Okay, we still have everything play out over here, but it's only a few pips difference, right? But just for that sake, we don't have to use this as our bottom of a range when it's already been tested and proven strength. Okay, so now this is going to be our bottom of a range. So I'll be bottom of our range and will lead to the top of our range. Okay, so within this range, where is the first bearish impulse within there? If we can just read the candlesticks, we push up, push down, push up, do all this extra shit. Who gives a fuck? Because this right here is that first impulse within the range. And due to that being the first impulse within the range, I'm wanting to target this liquidity. Again, liquidity equals wicks. Wicks equal liquidity. bodies of the candle is the volume that's taking place. Okay, so this is straight liquidity by just looking at this wick. All right, so if this is the first bearish impulse within this bullish range, this is what I'm going to target before I get into my entry. Okay, and I might have some videos where we can like explain the ping pong scenarios, you know, where you're selling to your buy and shit like that, because again, these highs right here are going to be false protection. And it's going to be false protection because that's initially going to be our next target. Okay, so yeah, that'll be our impulse within our range right here. This will be our SV. I'll probably get into that next video or whatever, but we have these candles go ahead and show us we have a strong, again, P4 instant reaction. I'm trying to tell you it's instantaneous because everything has already created the liquidity and created all the movement, whatever the fuck has happened with the algo, who fucking knows, but everything has already taken place for entry to go ahead and pop off. You know what I'm saying? So that's how everything will be labeled for this. So hopefully you can see that after seeing the model real quick. So for this one, let's actually go back to one of the models. Let me try to find bullish model fast P3. And again, this right here is a fast P3 because this is aligned as a double top over here. It's already aligned with created liquidity that has yet to be grabbed. Okay, so we're allowed to have a fast P3. Okay, and we'll get into heavy momentum zones in the next video probably. That'll explain a lot these candles a lot better, because you might be like, oh well, this pushed down hella fast towards entry, and again, this can only do that because we've pushed up heavy, so we're allowed to push down heavy within that same zone. But you can't have no shit to where you have something like this maybe, and it's just is pushing down like this, right? That's when you're going to get stopped out thinking that you were trying to buy right here, compared to something like this to where we pushed up heavy, and we're just reacting heavy, and then still giving us that type of entry. Okay, so there's going to be two different things, and I'll break that more down in the next video. But for this one right here, it's just basic entry model. That's it. We just on some basic entry model shit. If you want to ask questions in the comments, whatever the case is, I'll for sure go over that in the next videos. But basic shit right now, basic shit. So we can go ahead and put everything on the chart that we need. All right, cool. So this is what it will look like in live market, like when you're marking that shit up. Okay, so this again will be your cleared out liquidity. This is the impulse that cleared it out. As you see, we tested this low. If we wouldn't have tested this low like this and cleared out liquidity right here, right, then this would have been the bottom of our range. But due to us testing it, this is not a bottom of our range, and it leads to the top of our range. Okay, well, our top of the range is aligned with a double top, perfect double top sitting over here, along with liquidity sitting over here, right? So that's letting us know that, okay, cool, it's okay to have a fast P3. So in live market, it'll look like this. And you're like, okay, cool. Like I can expect market to push down pretty fast due to it's already liquidity over here. If there was no created liquidity over here, then it would make more sense for market to be on some stuff to where it's pushing down like this, where we start to create a lot of highs left behind and then run that up. Okay, but there's no need for that because it's already aligned with highs over here to the left. So it's okay for it to push down, run that impulse within range, and then have its reaction, because again, it's already there. It's the liquidity is already set up for us. There's no reason to wait too long for it. So again, this is what it looks like in live market. This is our impulse within the range, and it's gonna be I'm telling you, this is picture perfect shit. Okay, and a lot of times, like if people were to get messed up with this, it's most likely because you're trying to force all four phases on something that's not there. Okay, this is only going to take place like it's slowly but surely type of thing. All this, like, let all of market play out. So this right here will be P1. This right here would be P2. We have P2 over here, and then we're working within P3 right now. So P3 is going to take place until we get into our entry. So boom, we clear out liquidity, and then we probably push up from here. All right, cool. So let's say we get into our entry right here, and we're going to have our stop loss at this low. We don't need it. We can have it at the bottom of your range. Okay, that's no problem. It just depends on the scenario. But within these, like, there's a specific candlestick pattern that we use based on the elements. I'm not gonna get into that on YouTube probably, but for this right here, let's just have our bottom of the range as our stop loss. And your TP1, okay, is always going to be a top of your range, because you can always have a scenario play out to where this tags that and then immediately just shits, right? And now you're gonna be looking at this as all this created liquidity, and then you're gonna have a whole nother type of element play out over here for a bearish scenario. Okay, so that's why you always want to TP1, take partials or run risk free, whatever the case is, after the top of your range or your bottom of the range has been cleared out. Okay, of course you can have your higher levels of TPs and shit, but just note, not 100% of the time it's going to just take off after your top of the range is cleared out. So what we can do is TP1 here, and we could look over here to the left and see what kind of liquidity we can target. And I already marked this up because we can target all of this. Like this right here in my eyes is like, this is picture perfect. Like whenever, again, market is just grabbing and creating. So we're leaving all these creations behind. Trust and believe is set up to be grabbed. Simple as that. That's all wicks mean. Okay. That's how easy market can be. So with that being said, this right here will be my target because this right here is not proving no fucking bearish ass strength. These over here aren't proving crazy. Like this is all false protection because they've already been tested back to back. So if everything's already been tested 1 to 2 times, that 34th time, there's no more strength within there. So there's no reason for that to all of a sudden gain strength and now break lows. Okay. So that's why we're going to use this as our target or as our overall target. Okay. It can go 1,000 pips higher than this. It's all good. But this is going to be our overall target. So our TP can be up here for 100 pips, or if you're going to just straight percent base, this will be a 1 to 7. And again, if you were to have your stop loss at this low, you're now working with a 1 to 12 or 1 to 13. So the possibilities are endless, man. It's completely up to you how you want to go about things. But after we have our P3 take place, again, fast P3, it's okay. We have created liquidity over here to the left. P4 immediately starts, okay? Like immediately, that's what happens. Just let it do its thing. Push up. And it's gonna, let's just go ahead and let it hit TP because I know it's gonna hit TP. You feel me? I think I got into the straight, honestly. I'll have to see in my personal notes or whatever. But yeah, so this is it. And again, like you just have to see it for yourself, man. In live market, you're gonna see this small thing take place. If we clear it out, we have our impulse that clears it. We're gonna have our bottom of the range, top of the range. We're gonna have a nice impulse within that range. We're gonna clear that out. Again, stop loss, bottom of the range most of the time, like 98% of the time. Just depends if you're like on the 1 minute watching that shit. But if you can honestly place limits with this. So if you were to place a limit based off of this and market was looking like this, your limit will look just like this. You would have your limit at the impulse within the range, and your bottom of the range will be your stop loss. Again, if you wanted to place a limit, I'm not going to say place a limit and just hope for the fucking best because that's all you're really doing when you're not watching market and it's this far away. Yes, you can have your confidence within you, but again, you never know what the foot market wants to do. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you did want to have a limit, this is how you would place it. You just leave it there, let it do its thing, and that would be your entry. So TP did its thing, and again, P1 through P4 plays out every single time. Like you're going to see every single time. Just go back test it for yourself and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So P4 reaction, beautiful. Okay. Impulse within the range. This is what I'm talking about. You'll clear that liquidity out. And now it's time to target highs. Okay. And even if we weren't even looking at none of that type shit, you feel me? If this high was really strong, right? If this high was strong enough to be bearish, like if bears were really in control right here, it would have been no problem to break either one of these lows, right? So the fact that it didn't even break any lows, now we can see how strong buyers are. Okay, so now we're testing buyers. So let's say we test the buyers down here, we prove a little bit of strength. Okay, well that buy didn't have enough strength to break highs, right? So now we're going to test sales again. Now that we're testing sales, okay, well, if sales are in control, they should break this low with no problem. Well, they didn't do so. Okay. So now we're testing buys again. So let's see who's strong. Well, clearly at this point, we already know sales just aren't in control at all. You feel me? They failed to break lows 2 times. So now buys are having an opportunity. And again, we've changed grabbing stages once we grab that wick right there. All right. The same thing over here. We changed grabbing stages once we grab that wick. And again, that's in my last video or the liquidity video. And now we have opportunity to buy strength. If buys are strong, it'll have no problem to clear that out. No problem. If buys are strong, it'll have no problem to clear this out. No problem. You're able to see who's really in control at the moment, volume wise. Okay. And again, our entry is for sure going to take place when we have a bullish grabbing stage. And that's why it's cool to place a limit and everything, but there no grabbing stage is confirmed unless you're watching or whatever. So grabbing stage is confirmed after this candle right here. So yeah, that was this trade. Same exact model as the template that I just gave y'all. And again, perfect P4 reaction. Go back test this yourself. I promise you, just go back test it and you'll see. So the main thing is it's just going to look like this. Bearish wise, we're going to clear out liquidity. We're going to have an impulse in that range. We're going to create liquidity. We're going to clear that impulse out and then run lows. We all seen this before. We've seen market take place, but now you can really watch those 4 different phases happen and break it down even more and really understand what's happening. Clear liquidity, impulse that cleared it out, top of the range, bottom of our range, impulse within that range, CL3 SV. That's a bearish example, okay? Basic bearish example. So if we have a bullish example, it'll be vice versa. Clear liquidity, impulse within the range, top of our range, create liquidity, clear that out, run highs. Clear liquidity, impulse that clears it, bottom of the range, top of the range, CL3, impulse within that range, SV. If you want to break it down within your phases, you have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and then phase 4 is instant reaction. Well, actually, phase 4 takes place immediately after you enter. And then you have your phase 4 reaction. And then sometimes you'll come into a scenario to where phase 4 might push up and it just doesn't, like, it's not showing any strength. Like all of a sudden you'll see that bears over here are showing strength because they start to push down like that. If you have something like this play out, it's a no-go. You're going to see this happen, okay? So the only two phases where you can really make sure entry is going to take place is phase 3 and phase 4. For phase 3, that confirmation of not getting into the trade is going to be when there's heavy momentum towards your entry, okay? Like drastic heavy momentum towards your entry to where it's like, holy fuck, like this is not looking in my direction anymore. So let me not take this trade. Okay. So that'll be number one. And then for over here in phase 4, if you have that instant reaction and then all, like for buying wise, and then all of a sudden bears kick in and they're showing strength and a lot more strength than your buy is taking place, then go ahead and risk free it, stop loss at break even for sure. Go ahead and take partials, or I would for sure just recommend close that whole thing in full position. Close the full position, okay? Because what's going to happen is that P4 is not a P4. This element is not an element. There's no entry model taking place, okay? As you can see over here, this might be your clear liquidity, impulse that cleared at top of the range, bottom of the range. We might have a little jab step in here that provides this entry, right? And now that gives us reasons to be bearish. But you wouldn't have seen that if you're so focused on being bullish and like, oh, well, my P4 has to take place. No, your P4 takes place and then comes close to entry like this, cut it. Just cut it. There's no reason to be in that trade anymore. And if you go, if y'all study y'all's own entries and you study your own losses, you'll begin to see that every time you get into your buy, for instance, and all of a sudden the market comes back to your entry very fast, and you might stack an entry right here, whatever the case is, and it pushes up blue a little bit more. If there's no strength, if this buy right here has no strength to break highs, it's bearish. Simple. Like that's just that. So now over here, we have sells in control, breaks lows, comes back up. If buys have no strength to run highs, it's bearish. So it did not run as high. But what did it do over here? Ran lows. We have buyers versus sellers. Sellers remained in control over here. Okay, and we'll get into that concept in a later video. But for right now, I just definitely want to give y'all the basics of the entry model, because this is for sure, like, it's a banger. Like, it can really help you out by just breaking market down within these 4 phases, because that's how, I promise you, that's how market moves. Anybody you see on Instagram, anybody y'all see on social media or anything like that, go mark up 4 phases on their charts. You're going to see for yourself. That's just how market moves. That's how it works for me, and that's how I really like it. So and again, there's definitely a lot more confirmations. It's more than just seeing 4 phases take place and get into the entry and you're just fucking successful from there. You know what I'm saying? That's not the case. That's not what this is trying to break down. But visually wise, when you do visually see these 4 phases and you see all these particular confirmations take place and the certain conditions within those phases take place, you know, that's giving you your confidence to take that trade. And right now we haven't gotten into the actual systematic approach of following your rules, you know, your trading plan and stuff like that. That's all something that you can do personal as of right now until the series is done or whatever. But there's definitely ways to sit on your hands and be comfortable sitting on your hands. That was my main problem. I wasn't comfortable sitting on my hands because I'm ready to trade. You know what I'm saying? Especially if let's say you were really fucking with this concept and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to go get into the market and just trade it. And you're in market live and it's looking like this. You know what I'm saying? You might not gonna see something as picture perfect like this. And you're like, well, why isn't this working? Or yada, yada, yada. You got to sit on your hands. You got to build a system around these rules. And that's all I've done. So in the mentorship, or whatever the case is, they have my system. But for right now on YouTube, you have to create your own. I'm just giving off simple shit right now that can help you trade. Okay, and I'm a visual person, so visually seeing this pattern, like, yes, this pattern, you know, niggas be like, oh, don't trade a pattern, is that other. No, what is market? How do we see market? Visually, right? So if it's visually giving me the same fucking pattern over and over again, how dare me be like, nah, I'm not gonna fold it because that's a pattern. Like, come on now, it's visually, I have all the visual confirmations I need right in front of me, so I'm taking that trade. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be that. Again, if you want to go ahead and screenshot this And inside the mentorship, like I have everything. We can go to a few of my trades real quick. I think honestly some analysis. Let me see. Just want to see something. All right, cool. Now, all right, let's look at some trades that I took. And just see if I have like any full ones marked up, like full elements type shit. The only last one I did, I think, was just that one. But yeah, I sent all my trades in here. Let's see if we have anything here. All right, cool. So this will be a quick example of how buyers have no strength, right? Because look at this right here. If buys are strong, when it comes down, it should break highs. It should have minimal wise broke this high. It didn't do so. Okay, so why all of a sudden will I test it again and all of a sudden have more buying strength? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. And so now I can automatically flip to being bearish. Okay. And this is a 15-minute time frame. So on the 1 minute, there's a full bearish element within here that's already taking place. We clear liquidities, the impulse I cleared at top of the range, bottom of my range. So my entry is taking place within my range over here. And that impulse within the range has already been cleared out due to this wick. So this was just a simple trade of how there is no buying strength. And so now all I have to do is be bearish. And then I start another entry within there and then let it do its thing. I believe right here is when I go risk-free or whatever the case is. And so, yeah, I have all my trades in here. Let's see what else I got. Yeah, all these were stacks. I think we were going crazy on this. Like, yeah, these were simple stacks. All right, even looking at this. So let's look at this example. Let's mark this up. So we cleared out. Look, oh, well, this is, I'm about to say, this looks like this example I just put. So you see how we tested this low right here? So I don't have to use this as my bottom of the range. I can use this as my bottom of the range for right now. So let's use that. So we have clear liquidity, impulse that clears it, bottom of the range, top of the range, CL3, right? We have a slow CL3. Why? Because we're not aligned with anything over here right now. We're just aligned with straight market like that. You feel me? So we have our CL3 sitting here. And where's that first impulse within the range? If this right here is our range, this is that first impulse right here. And it's going to be that liquidity. So entry takes place after that. Entry over here. First TP is again at the top of your range. So this right here is a full element already taking place. And again, as you see, I think I took this trade and these are like my super extra trades. And I was just TPing this high right here. But just so you can see that this exact bullish element right here, this is another example of how those things can take place. Let me see what else I can take or show y'all. So yeah, that went ahead and did TP. Okay, yeah, so I did get into that trade. So yeah, so this was my element on a super smaller time frame. Clear liquidity, impulse that cleared it. Where was I at? Was it down here? Okay, we're not gonna get into that because that was another type of confirmation. Let's see what else we got. Different type of confirmation, but after we clear this liquidity, yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. I got something else. Let's see. Oh, well, here it goes. All right, well, here goes my buy. Cause I got into that buy. So the same thing I just marked up when we cleared out this liquidity right here, got into my entry. As we push down and we're sitting right here, I'm entering. And it's on the 5 minutes. So I was probably on the 1 minute getting into my entry. And as you see, TP1 is just straight up going to be the top of the range. You feel me? And again, as you saw below, I got into stacked entries and I'm risk-free on it. Like as soon as I get into the trade, I'm almost risk-free because again, instant P4 every single time. So after I got into that, okay, well, this will look like on the 1 minute. When I was down here, that's another confirmation. We're not gonna get into that. So yeah, TP this one right here, and then got into another buy right there. So that's how that one took place. Let's see anything else that I got that's pretty easy. Let's see if I got anything in here. Clear liquid, not gonna get into that. Oh, okay, I think I got into this one over here. I can't zoom in. Actually, let me see if I can open the original. All right, boom. So let's annotate this. Oh, you can't see my screen. All right, bring this back over here. Where's the original thing? Okay, right here. All right, cool. So y'all should be able to see my screen right now. For this entry right here, we had clear liquidity, impulse that cleared it, top of the range, bottom of our range. We had impulse within the range. I think there's a wick right here that was sitting there. So after it gave me that reaction, entry again, instant P4. I'm risk-free on everything. I had entry, I believe, from this high right here. This is my second element over here. This was my third one because again, buys right here did not prove strength to break highs. So now I'm nothing but bearish. So got into another sell down here when we pushed down and tested that low, and the same thing out here. So the overall element one that y'all can really fuck with is this one right here. Okay, all confirmation taking place again. immediate P4 reaction. Like I swear, like I'm telling y'all, when y'all get into these trades and you're like, holy shit, like I have instant reaction. Those are the kind of trades that you want to be in. You know what I'm saying? So let me see what else I got. Okay, cool. This is a better picture of that, of the one I was just breaking down when I was on the 1 minute. So again, we cleared out liquidity. This is the impulse that cleared liquidity out, top of the range, bottom of the range. We can have a fast P3. Why? Because we're sitting over here to the double bottom and we got liquidity sitting right here. So it's okay to have a fast P3. There's no need to create all type of liquidity when the liquidity has already been created. You know what I'm saying? That's the main thing. So up here, our wick is right here that I was telling y'all about. That's our first impulse. Because look, first impulse within the bearish range. Okay, well, let's clear out that liquidity. If market is moving like this, that's what we're gonna clear out the liquidity. You feel me? So entry right here, I had stop loss at this high right here. As soon as we broke this low, I most likely went risk free because now there's no buying strength. If buys were strong, it would have pushed up and stopped me out. Simple. Due to the not having any strength, it's time to continue selling. Same thing down here. If buys were strong right here, or even down here to niggas thought they have a better entry, it should be no problem to break this high. Due to it not breaking that high, continue selling. Simple shit. Okay. All I do with my trading is I just flow with what market literally gives me. Oh, matter of fact, here goes my markup right here. All right, cool. So this is when I was in live market. After we cleared out that wick right there, that's when I got into my entry. Again, clear liquidity, impulse I cleared out, top of the range, bottom of the range, impulse within the range, overall TP sitting down here. And this was that overall reaction. As you see, P4 again is going to be immediate. It's immediate. Like I'm telling you, it's going to be immediate. So if we want to mark up our phases real quick, we'll have P1, P2, P3, and then P4. So this is 4, this is 3, 2, 1. Okay, again, 1 is consisting of clearing out liquidity and focusing on the impulse that cleared out that liquidity. 2 is focused on your range. 3, and within your range, within P2 is where you're going to find where you should be entering. So within this P2, I should be entering after that first impulse is getting cleared out. Why am I not using this one right here? Because that's basically already tested that high. So there's no need for it to come all the way back up here. And P3 is, again, creating that liquidity to the downside, letting us know that our target does make sense. Okay. So that's that one. Let me see if I have anything else I can show y'all. Yeah, so I stacked entries within there. That was that. Okay, cool. So yeah, these were those 2 entries off of that element right there. And then all these, we had taken all these lives. Let me see. Yeah, this will be a nice jazz set reaction, something in there. No, we're not gonna get into all that. I'm trying to see if I have like some super clean, just pure elements I can see that I can show y'all real quick. Let's see what happened with this. Just real quick, again, if buys don't have strength to break highs, you're bearish. Like simple as that. I don't think I have anything in here. This is another type of entry model. Nothing in there. Nothing right there. I'm not gonna go over that. All right, cool. I think that's just gonna be it for right now. I'm not gonna go too much in depth. I think I have something right here. All right, cool. So this one took place. We already had the element play out type shit, right? So now we're focusing on this next one. So now we have clear liquidity, impulse that cleared it, bottom of the range, top of the range, CL3. This right here will be our impulse within the range. There's a wick right there. So as it pushed down and cleared out this wick, when it pushed down, I went ahead and got into my entry and I put stop loss at this low. Originally, it was at this low, okay? And when it turned back around and created a low right here, I changed my stop loss to putting it right here. Again, it's on a 1 minute, so this is literally a couple pips difference, but there's no reason to risk those couple pips if I know it does. If it wants to run this low, there's no problem to run this low, so might as well stop me out right here. And again, TP1. I'm not trying to go crazy and hit anything over here, right? I'm not trying to do any of that. I'm being very consistent. So TP1 is going to be the top of my range, and that's what it gives me. So let's see what kind of reaction we got off of that. P4, instant. I'm like, I swear, I didn't even get a chance to screenshot all my things that took place. And again, this is why you don't go crazy, because look, my TP was right here. TP was sitting right here, got that smack, right? Did not break highs. So what does it mean when we don't break highs? We're bearish. So what should you do when it's bearish? You fucking sell, right? And so now we ran lows. Let me see if we ran lows. All right, we got to stop that break even. I think I got back in though. Because that was that fat wick right there. All right, we're not gonna get into all that. But yeah, that's an easy buy element that took place. Okay, cool. I was able to get a little screenshot of that. Let's see what this one looks like. I grabbed this right here and we came down, pushed down. Same, yeah, same exact thing. Here's another one. This one right here, I had just grabbed the bottom of the range, basically like bottom of the range type entry, because all the heavy momentum is on. We'll get into that in the next few lessons or whatever. Let's see. Anything not here? That's just too picture perfect. All right, we're not gonna get into that just yet. All right, let's see what we got over here. All right, cool. So this right here is a buyer versus seller type of scenario, but same element entry model wise. Okay, we cleared out liquidity right here, cleared that out, impulse that cleared out, top of the range, bottom of our range, fast P3 because we have liquidity sitting over here. And within over here, we have buyers versus sellers. So I just sold once I saw that there was no bullish strength. Again, there's no bullish strength. It's time to sell. So this was the market for that easy type of scenario. Again, this is my range that I was working within, this high and this low. This is my impulse within that range. So my entry took place after that happened, basically. Let me see if I got anything else crazy. No, that's some other shit. Let me see. Yeah, nothing too crazy in there. All right, okay, I got another markup right here. So this will be a clean markup. Yeah, my fault for having all these Asia and all that. I really don't use that, but I guess I was fucking with it, right? But come on now, look, May 9th. Isn't this the example I just went over? Yeah, this is the example that I just went over. So this is what it looked like on May 9th when I marked it up. So my impulse within the range was sitting right here. Okay, cool. Because I think on the one that I just showed y'all that we went over, that was on a 5 minute. But this is on a 1 minute. Okay, so we have a lot more structure going on. So as you see, this is my impulse in the range I was looking at, and my line was right here. So I got into that trade. Again, TP1 right here. So over here, I just have it risk-free plus taking 70% off my position and running these highs right here. So that's how it took place. So this is my first entry. Then my second entry took place over here. Same exact confirmations, basically. Clear liquidity, impulse that cleared it, bottom of the range, top of the range, fast P3 because we have liquidity aligned over here. This wick right here is my first impulse in the range. Look where it's at every single time. That's where my entries are going to take place at. Okay. And that was the overall trade. And here goes my markups. I think I got stopped out right here. And I had my low right here, stopped out there, got my 70%, whatever the case is, took partials here. This is my next entry, took entry. And again, P4 reaction, instant, every single time. Let me see what else I got over here. Some more buys. Okay, cool. So I believe this is literally May 9th, the example I just went over. But for this one right here, we have clear liquidity, impulse that clears it, bottom of the range, top of the range, impulse within that range, SV, instantaneous P4. We're going to easily target highs over here. So I just going to show that, like, especially if you are in VP and everything, I'm going to show you like everything I'm teaching or whatever, or how I trade. Like, I'm gonna give you all my reasons behind it and show me trading it as well, so that you can study my screenshots. So for this one right here, we have clear liquidity, bottom impulse that clear liquidity, top of the range, bottom of a range, beautiful CO3. Like when we see a CO3 like this, like that is picture perfect. This is nothing but false protection right here. So when our P4 takes place, it's instantaneous. Okay. The more liquidity is sitting right here, trust and believe, the faster your P4 will have that reaction. Okay. And then again, entry, I believe after we cleared out that wick right there, I was watching it. I saw we pushed up, came down, pushed up one last time, and we didn't break highs. Because again, if we're strong buyers, we're going to break highs with no problem. Due to us not breaking highs, went ahead and got into my sell. We came down here. We have sellers versus buyers again. Buyers didn't have any strength, so got into the sell right here. Easily TPs down here. But again, stop losses at the top of my range if my entry is sitting right here. Okay, so that's how that one took place. I'm just trying to show y'all some live examples so you can kind of see what it looks like. Same as that thing over here. We can go ahead and mark this up. We cleared out liquidity, impulse that clears it, top of the range, bottom of the range. This is our impulse within our range. I'm not using this one because it's basically mitigated or already tested that high, so no need to come all the way back up there. So this right here will be my first impulse within that range. After entry is confirmed, as you see, entry took place right here. I let it do its thing because it's on a 1 minute, so I don't even know how big of a stop loss that was. And again, partials at this low, next partial is basically at that low, and I let it do its thing after that. So it's this is my concept. This is how I trade. This is my reality of market. Here's another market for y'all. Clear liquidity, impulse. Oh, this is kind of what I just went over. Impulse at clear liquidity, top of the range, bottom of the range, impulse in the range. And I went ahead and got into my entry over here because I didn't know, because we could have just entered right, like had a reaction off of here. I didn't know we were going to have a 100% reaction up there. And as you see, we didn't have that reaction, so I was good enough to stay down here, and that was that. And again, that was this trade right here. But that's all my ones that I have in here so far. And see, I have a lot. Like I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of everything, but a lot of these trays. We go over this. Yeah, how beautiful. A lot of these trays are now having like more to the concept of the elements. Because again, right now in this video, this is just entry model wise. You can feel me, like just basic entry model setup. We have other confirmations that do take place, and I will probably get into them on this YouTube, but majority of everything is gonna stay within the mentorship, especially like whenever this was news. I'm definitely gonna show you on YouTube how to trade news. Like it's the easiest thing in the world, like that, and it'll really change your concept on life itself because everything is pre-planned. So these are just a lot of stacks that I got into, but this if you're able to stack, I only stack entries in my P4. Okay, because look, I have my element taking place entry right here, so I stack every entry that's available during a P4. During a P4. That's the main thing. I just don't fuck around, go stacking entries for fun. I only stack them during P4s because again, we're testing lows, showing no strength, we sell. We're testing lows, no strength, we sell. Testing lows, no strength, we sell. You know what I'm saying? Simple shit. I think I went over all these trades. And this is what I did on Friday or last week type shit. We got into this buy. I was targeting this high up here, woke up 11 o'clock. I took this trade at 350, woke up at 11 o'clock, and it was damn near TP. So once it was right there, I'm closing that bitch. Like as soon as I'm close to TP, I'm closing it. This one over here, clear liquidity, impulse that I cleared out, bottom of the range, top of the range. This is that first big ass impulse within that range. So my entry took place after that. And after I had another candlestick confirmation over here on the smaller time frame element, entry here, stop loss at that low. And again, P4, instant reaction. And this was the trade, TP, all that shit over here. And okay, cool. So that's the last trade I sent in here. And then in here, like I give y'all the sauce on everything that's like really takes place within the elements, all the certain confirmations that take place. So you'll have everything if you did want to fuck with VP and shit like that. So it's not just entry model and that's all it is. Like it's a lot of details that go into everything. So I definitely make sure to give y'all all of that. But yeah, overall, I think that's all I'm going to go over within here. Well, I don't know if we'll get into all this extra shit, but let me see. Elements nodes. I'm not gonna get into that. I mean, I can see a nigga snap real quick, you feel me? Everyone's gonna be in the same kind of trades, you feel me? All the trades that I'm into, everyone's gonna be in the same exact shit. So yeah, everyone's trading the same way. That's why I like fuck with how I have everything MVP because you're gonna do nothing but learn how I trade my reality of market, and you're gonna be able to apply it to yourself. So of course, if you fucking with VP, it's not gonna be open, especially because we're just doing the YouTube videos for right now. But yeah, everything is clean within here. Elements knows. Yeah, I think we're gonna be good on all that. So yeah, the main thing is just want to push out this entry model. I hope this video helps. And these aren't going to be short videos, okay? Especially if you're truly watching to the end right now. These will not be short videos. These are probably going to be 40 minutes minimum for each video because these are real deal. Like if you just study these lessons, and I kind of have to build my momentum up. You feel me? Like I can't just start the video off immediately snapping. Like I got to get into the motion of what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to figure out and shit like that because nothing is pre-planned. So this is the main thing I want to give out. You can definitely screenshot this. I might post this on YouTube, like this layout, or I might put it on Instagram, Telegram, Discord. I'm not sure, but I'll most likely be putting out very soon once this video comes out. This video won't come out till tomorrow. Like right now it's June 26th and I'll be releasing this first video June 27th. Okay. And then yeah, based on y'all's reactions or all the questions you want to ask inside the comment section, I can for sure run it up in the next video and make sure to go over anything you want me to. I'm not sure what the next video is going to be over because I don't know if I want to give y'all all 7 ways of taking the trades. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, but I'm definitely going to give y'all the heavy momentum zones and shit like that. That's probably gonna be my next video is learning how to trade a news red folder, whatever the case is, because that shit is non-existent. It's all pre-planned. So I'll probably get into that in the next video. But again, basic entry model wise, this right here, you can back test this and know how to trade. Apply it to what you already know, you know what I'm saying? And make sure you see these 4 phases. And if you do want to back test this, you back test picture perfect setups. Okay. Do not try to go back test. Like, do not come over here in live market and be on some shit like this. Let's go to Safari real quick. Do not be on some shit to where you're just like, oh, well, I'm trying to find it in here. I don't see why it's not in here. Or I don't see why it's not right here. Where the case is like, no, you need to go back and it's going to be picture perfect. You're going to be able to perfectly see all 4 phases take place. Okay, wherever you have a big ass reaction, just look to the left and see what took place before that reaction happened. Okay, so yeah, this was a trade that I did get into live, and this was my TP. I already showed all that shit and everything, but that's it. This is how I trade. To a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? This is not all the details or whatever. It's definitely, again, more than just seeing the pattern, but knowing how to flow with it as well. So, and staying disciplined with it and building a system around it with your rules, risk management, everything in that order. So that's gonna end this video. This video will be released June 27th. Questions, comments, concerns, you know what I'm saying? You can just hit me up on shit, probably Telegram. I don't know. I really stay on that anymore, but you just ask the questions in the YouTube comments and I'll for sure get back to you. But yeah, this can definitely help you out on how to enter market. That I'm going to give y'all a system, a basic system to follow and trade with, whether you're new and you're needing something or you already think you fi and you just trying to get more fi. You feel me? This can be something that you can apply because this is how market moves. My reality of market is just flowing with this simple thing right here. This is all I trade. This right here. I want to buy down here and I want to sell right here. So everything that takes place in the middle and in between, that's what I focus on. And that's what my reality of market is based on. I do not like to trade terminology based. I don't want to call things something else that someone else is calling. I'm not trying to change names or whatever the case is. Like CL, we cleared liquidity. That's what that is. ICO, this is the impulse that cleared liquidity. That's what it is. BOR, bottom of the range, top of the range. That's what it is. CO3, created liquidity in phase 3. That's what it is. IWR, impulse, bearish impulse within the bullish range. That's what it is. You feel me? Like I call it as I see it and what's actually in front of me. I'm not calling shit at it. I'm not this supply, this demand, that is, as you see, it's unnecessary. It's not needed. Okay. I feel like that's just a very marketing tool right there at this point. But if you just want to trade, you just want to know what the fuck the market is doing right in front of you, this is the way, this is how to do so. And with this simple concept right here, I promise you, you can find things out even more. Ask market whatever question you want, it will provide you the answer. So, and if not, drop it in the comments and I'll try to provide the answer in the next video. But I hope everything works with y'all. And if you do want to back test these and you have all your screenshots, for sure, send them my way. You can probably just send them to me on Instagram or Telegram. I'll for sure drop it in the link in the bio or whatever, or the link in the description. So definitely shoot me all of your pictures. I'll definitely love to see them. And as traders, we have to back test. You have to spend, like, niggas be like, oh, back testing doesn't work. Listen, listen, fuck what they got going on. You have to back test your strategy. You have to back test your reality of market. You have to make sure that you know how to take advantage when a picture perfect setup presents itself. Okay. And you can't do that if you're not back testing. You use live testing to feel those emotions. You use live testing to figure out why a fast P3 needs to take place. You can figure it out in back testing, but you got to emotionally feel what it's like in live market. Okay. Those are the two differences. And I'll try to make videos of like just like mental notes and shit like that I have, like just psychology based videos, just for the simple thing of why to back test and how to back test. I'll probably even make a video on how to back test perfection because I'm very big on that, like 100% very big on that, especially for the detailed notes that I just showed y'all over here in Discord. Like this is something that's very important to me. To make sure everything that I'm doing makes sense. You feel me? I got to make sense of everything that's taking place and everything behind it has a story. No terminology based story, but what's actually in front of you. Okay. So if y'all have any questions or whatever, definitely let me know. I hope this video works. This is the first of 5 or 6, maybe. I'm not sure just yet. It might even be more. I'm not even 100% sure, but I'll for sure try to get y'all right on just the basics of the elements so you can at least know what it's like. And so if you were interested in joining the mentorship, or I really don't want to call it mentorship because I'm just like teaching what I know. You're your own mentor at the end of the day. You got to help yourself. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to get into this, then I'll probably open it up after all these videos are done. But besides that, hope everyone's having a great high vibrational day. You feel me? Any questions, comments, concerns, drop that shit in the goddamn comment section. I'll be sure to get back to you. But yeah, definitely grind this shit out. Don't stop. And yeah, I'm gonna see y'all in the next video then for sure.